Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mythic for Operators. Today, we're going to be looking at searching for an operation. So, the search data can be found one of two different ways. You can either click the search icon up here at the top, or you can use the uh, hamburger icon on the side, click operational data, and then search. Either way is fine. Your default brought to a search for callbacks. So here we can go through and see various information about all the callbacks that we have, whether they're active or not. And you can search to see maybe callbacks by a specific IP address, by host name, by description, user. So let's say we want to look for an IP address that has a last octet of 133. Bam. Search. These two callbacks have that. It's really easy to go through, and then from here, you can view more details, see what's going on, commands, all that sort of data. So it's a handy way to filter your data down and get an idea of what's going on. Another great one to search through is your tasks. So here we can go through and search a variety of aspects for these different tasks. You can look at output. So maybe I only want to see things that have Poseidon in the output. All of these commands, now 16 of them, have Poseidon in the output in some form or another. We can also look at specific commands. So maybe I only want to look at run commands. And you can even filter that down further. I only want to see run commands that fail. And now we're listed down to just one. And you can try and get an idea if there's more data about what's going on. So pretty easy to start filtering down. You can look at specific command parameters, comments that were added on, all sorts of stuff. One of the more interesting ones, I think, is looking at files. So Mythic tracks a whole bunch of stuff about files. Here we're looking at downloads specifically, and you can search via file name, hash of a file, comments, tags. This is the Poseidon TCP binary file that we downloaded before. The nice thing here is you can select more, because this is a download. This went from our target host to Mythic. We can see a SHA-1 and MD5 hash of the file. We can see what task and what callback issued it, when it happened. The interesting things are these two. We can see the first 512 kilobytes of strings and as XXD format. So just clicking this loads up a new window where you can see, yep, this is an ELF binary and string data that you want to parse through. Make it a bit easier is the hex XXD format, where you can see the hex on the side and the string data on the right. Makes it a bit easier to parse. With both of these, if you want to go through and chop out sections, by all means, go for it. You can do any sort of modification here. Doesn't matter. It's not actually saved on the back end. This is just a text editor for you to potentially make modifications, then copy it out into something else if you need. So really handy there. You can search in downloads. You can look at uploads. So these will be you're going from your like user operator machine to Mythic, or these are things that Mythic has created in this hosting for you. Example here is that operation report that we saw before. We can see comment, it was generated for us. Same sorts of things. We can look at strings or the XXD format of this XML report that was generated. So pretty easy to go through. If you want to download files that were uploaded or downloaded, you can simply, here we're looking at the uploads, you can click the link here and it will automatically download the file. If you want to download multiple, then simply toggle the ones that you want to download and then click zip and download selected. And that'll zip them up and give you a new file that you can download right there for you. Similarly, for downloads, you're downloading a whole bunch of things from your target host. You want to then download them through the browser to your machine, one at a time, or you can toggle and download multiple at once. Pretty easy. We are also tracking file browser data. So any of that data that you see in the file browser, you can search for here, see information, see metadata, all sorts of stuff that you would see there. Similarly, if we had downloaded this file before, like we just saw, we had downloaded Poseidon TCP, we can click this button here and view the history and say, yep, task 25, we downloaded this file. You can download it there as well. If we had screenshots that we had captured, you can see these here with the thumbnail and the time and information about when that happened. All sorts of things, again, able to search via hash of the screenshots or comment or any of that sort of data. Any credential that is captured by Mythic or that you enter in manually, you can see in here with the accounts, the realm, which is sometimes the domain, but not always. You can see the credentials. If you want to copy these credentials to your clipboard, it's as easy as clicking the little copy here. You can see comments, this, we data mined it, who did it, when, what type of data it is, all sorts of stuff that's available there for you. You can also click new credential and add new credentials of various types. Maybe you want to specify tickets or certificates or just hex keys that you're finding, stuff like that. You can add all those in. One thing I want to note here as well in the file section is you can host files in Mythic at any time. So let's say we want to host, I don't know, this Poseidon file. So we uploaded it to the Mythic server. It's now available. If we go to our uploads, we can see this Poseidon peer-to-peer binary file manually uploaded. We can, of course, change this. And update it to whatever it is that we want. That's a handy way to host a file within Mythic that everybody can then use in their tasking instead of requiring each person to upload a file that they need manually. If we had keylog data, you could see all this here and search across keystrokes or who issued the key logging, what program it came from, all sorts of stuff like that. Artifacts is pretty handy. This depends on the agent to report back these sorts of artifacts that get executed. Lots of times, if you look at payloads like Apollo and whatnot, they'll report the PID of sacrificial processes that they spawn. It'll be the pipe names created, processes created, stuff like that can get added in here. If you're doing token manipulations where you want to steal tokens, make tokens, leverage them, you can search through the user groups, SID, or host information and kind of easily pull out a lot of the data that's there. We already looked at proxies and processes to view the process data that you're getting back. And we'll dive more into tags in a future video. But this is a handy way to go through and search for all this data that's available in Mythic. Mythic keeps all this data in a Postgres database in the back end, and so it's available for you and for all operators to search at any time. You don't have to go to text files and grab for things or whatnot. You can search all for it here. And especially for things like callbacks, if you hide a callback, then this is a handy way to go through and bring it back to the forefront, bring it back into your active operations, or hide it again. Makes it pretty easy to toggle back and forth. So that's a quick overview of what you can search and how to do searching across Mythic.